screen is on there, so they're all standing.
All right.
People stand outside and look in.
Right, okay. Okay, we'll start. So, just,
I just want to make sure that they're not here on the internet. Okay. Maybe you starting off with a song, is it?
I'm going to welcome everyone, and then I'm going to start a piece of music. Okay. To start. Okay, no problem. Is she? Okay, let's close it. Yeah, it's 10, so. Yeah, okay. So, anyway, good afternoon. And on behalf of Peter's family, his wife, Lorraine, his wonderful children, Samuel, Maxwell, Paul, Claire, Robin, thank you for being here for this ceremony of farewell. And of course, due to the restrictions, we are limited with the numbers of people we can have in here at the service. So I want to welcome those others who may be joining us outside here in the car park. Thank you for being here, supporting Peter's family this afternoon, and particularly Peter's son Paul, who is in Australia and hopefully can see us clearly on the webcam here this afternoon. And those others who would have known Peter, who are joining us on the webcam, thank you for taking the time this afternoon to be here supporting Peter's family. So we're going to start with a lovely classical piece of music, one that Peter would really have loved to have listened to. Lovely piece of music there, just starting our service here this afternoon. And none of us want to be here today to say our final goodbyes to Peter. We're all numbed, we are saddened that he has been taken from our lives. And it's at times when somebody we know and love dies that we search for kind words to say, and sometimes these words are hard to find. Even the words are all we have to express our feelings at times of grief and loss. And while words can be beautiful and filled with passion and feeling, they won't heal hearts here today. But what will help is your presence. So just being here, either physically or online, is all that Peter's family need right now, and they thank you for that support. So we all have this special time here today to feel closer and to recall our happy memories, to laugh, to shed a tear. We can all be thankful that Peter was in our lives and to remember him with kindness, with warmth, with love and affection, and above all, with gratitude for what he has meant to you as a husband, a father, a brother, an uncle, a cousin, a teacher, a neighbour, a dear friend. And Sam and Max have brought along 2 items that they're going to place in front of their dad's coffin this afternoon. And the Irish Times newspaper, he loved it every day, did he? Yeah. He read it cover to cover, knew all the news of the world in it, did he? Okay, so do you want to come forward and put that just on the... and you got the jar of sweets. That's better than a newspaper, isn't it? Huh? I'm telling you, okay. He was known for his jar of jellies, wasn't he? Always had them in the class and hidden in his drawer. Did you have them at home too, did he? Had his sweet tooth. Loved his jellies. Okay. Do you want to put them on top? Up here. Okay. Up there. All right. And there's paper behind it. Brilliant. That's lovely. Lovely waistcoats and your ties and all that. Your matching ones and all. You're all out. 2 best dressed men here today. Fantastic. Really is great to see. Honest to God. Absolutely. And of course, while Peter will be remembered for his love of music, first and foremost, he was a loving husband, of course, to Lorraine, and a doting father to you 2 guys, Sam and Max and Paul, Claire, Robin. He enjoyed life's simple pleasures, engaging in spirited debates about all things philosophical and metaphysical. He was at his happiest when heading out on a day trip to Howth with Sam and Max. And great memories were made in Merrion Square Playground or in the skateboard park as well. He was an avid reader, a champion of the written word, and was a touchstone of wisdom for so many. No matter what you asked Peter, he invariably knew the answer. With a wry grin, he would add, "If it works out, you can buy me a pint." He had an interest in current affairs and over the last year or so enjoyed watching CNN with you, Lorraine, and their reporting of the antics of Donald Trump. But of course, it was music that brought Peter much joy and happiness. Held in high esteem were artists like Don McLean, James Taylor, Paul McCartney, and the unforgettable songs of the American Songbook. His formative years held musical academia and regimental routine in tandem, playing with the Artane Boys Band and later the Army No. 1 Band. Peter inevitably progressed to running his own music school in Clondalkin, starting all those years ago in 1993. He taught all instruments from piano to guitar, bass, wind, and also vocals. And his passion for music made it easy for him to impart his huge knowledge. And over the years, he prepared many pupils for their music exams, and many have gone on to successful careers. And the highlight, of course, of his year was the showcase's pupils in an end-of-year annual concert. He was always so proud of his pupils' achievements, and of course, the famous jar of jellies at class had a huge part to play. There were many glowing tributes from former pupils on RIP.ie, and the following one caught my eye, and it sums up the talent of the man that was Peter. His lessons in music and in life will forever live on in the lives of his students. Dublin music has lost one of its heroes and true masters of musicianship. So for all of us to be thankful for the life of Peter and for the love he gave, for the friendships he sustained, and for his contribution to your world. All the goodness about Peter's life will not be lost. Instead, it will live on through you and within you. And all that was important to him will be respected by those who follow, and all that was great about him will continue to mean so much to you all. And I'm going to call a good friend of Peter's, Davey, to say a few words. Okay, thank you, Davey.
I've known Peter 30 years, and in all those 30 years, I never once heard him raise his voice. He was always a mild-mannered gentleman, a mild man, a kind spirit. Peter was a campaigner for the civil rights of people abused by the church and the state. He was also a religious man, and he never missed the service in St. Patrick's Cathedral at Christmas time. And he loved the spiritual teachings of Guru Paramhansa Yoganandaji. Peter was a gifted musician and a wonderful teacher of music. He founded the Clondalkin School of Music, where he worked tirelessly for over 20 years to make it a success. And I'm sure if you asked any one of the hundreds of students that he taught, myself included, they would all agree he was a wonderful teacher. The last 10 years was a happy and contented time for Peter. He had a loving wife, Lorraine, and two energetic, lovable boys, Sam and Max. You bring the boys over to our garden on summer Saturday afternoons, and we'd have a can of beer and we'd let them loose in the garden. And Sam only fell in the garden pool once. Oh, Max, that's right. It was Max. Yeah, it was Max. Yeah. And after they left, I'd be so exhausted I'd have to have a nap. Happy memories. During the U.S. presidential election, he rang me to say that there was no CNN channel in his hospital room, and he heard that Trump was ahead. So I reassured him they were only the in-person votes, and the mostly Democratic votes, postal votes, were yet to come in. So I had to ring him every hour and tell him when new votes came in or how the situation was panning out. So thankfully, it was a happy outcome. You fought so hard to stay with us, Peter. But you're with the saints now. Goodbye, old friend. May God shower you with his love. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Davey. And I'm going to invite Peter's daughter, Claire, to say a few words, please, okay? You sure? Yes, please, up you come. Yeah, please do. Absolutely. Thank you.
Clondalkin wasn't only Peter's first school, it was his second. His first school was in Finglas, and in a very poor area of Finglas. And he started it with a woman called Bridie. And I was the procurement officer. The first instrument was donated by a Stanton, which was Pete's brother Paul. And the second instrument was donated by a person called Christy Caffrey. Pete worked tirelessly, tried to get money from Corlalala Solga to finance this. And when they pushed him out after 6 years, he was devastated. It broke his heart. But he said, I'll start again. And that's when he started Clondalkin. When he left Finglas Concert Band, there wasn't one student without an instrument. And that was all down to Peter. Another thing that people don't know about Peter is the story about the jar. When we were in Artane, sweets were only given out once a month. And he said to me a long time ago, you know, Pat, if I ever have my own place, there's going to be free sweets. He actually only ate mints himself, not jellies. He only ate mints. And the second thing that Pete kept so close to his person was the work he did behind the scenes for all the boys and girls that were in industrial schools. There's only one person in this room that knows the amount, and that's Lorraine. And Pete, I used to say to Pete, look, let's get it out there. Why don't you go on papers, radio, blah, blah, blah. And he said, Pat, I'll leave that to you. You've got the harder neck. But he worked tirelessly, and there's many occasions that he left Lorraine on her own to go to meetings. And there's only two other people that know what he did in these meetings. And Pete was the conduit between the Archbishop, the government, to the survivors. He never took the limelight. He was always in the background. And I was always trying to say to him, Pete, you've got to get your face out there. And if you ever notice the photograph of us in a paper, Pete always wore sunglasses, right? Another thing that Pete spoke an awful lot about in the last few weeks with me were his children and how proud he was of Paul, Claire, and Robin. But the best story he told was about Sam and Maxwell. The fun he had teaching them the mandolin. Not the mandolin, the ukulele. And I said to him, and what's it like? I said, Pat, it's great fun. It's fantastic fun. And Davey said something in his little talk about Pete never raising his voice. He didn't have to. He would just look at you. And that would shut you up. So I know for a fact, because I spoke to him 2 hours before he died, that the only thing on his mind was Lorraine, Sam and Max, Robin, Paul, and Claire, and your mother. And he had nothing but glowing words to say for you all. So I'm just going to say one little verse, if you don't mind. My friend, I'm going to miss you when you're gone. My friend, I already miss you when you're gone. I miss the smile, the tear in your eye, and the comfort of your arms when I cry. When I cry. The comfort of your arms when I cry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pat. Lovely words, nice tribute. And nice to hear the origin story of the jellies and whatever. You know, those little snippets are important, fill those little gaps in of Peter's life. Lorraine has chosen a lovely poem entitled He Is Gone that she's asked me to read for her now. You can shed tears that he is gone, or you can smile because he lived. You can close your eyes and pray that he'll come back, or you can open your eyes and see all that he left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see him, or you can be full of the love you shared. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember him and only that he is gone, or you can cherish his memory and let it live on. You can cry and close your mind, be empty and turn your back, or you can do what Peter'd want. Smile, open your eyes, love, and go on. There's so much more we can say about Peter, and your memories, your stories will always be recalled as long as he is in your hearts, which will be forever. His life's adventure has now taken him on a new journey. We wish him well. We hope he has found peace, calmness, and a safe lodging. And he has made his contribution to making our world a better place. So as we come towards the end of our service, we'll now have a moment of just quiet reflection. We now say to Peter, we are profoundly proud of you. You have taught your family so much. We are heartbroken to have lost you. And we look forward to seeing you again when the time comes. In the meantime, we will continue to be the best people we can be, as you would expect. Peter, you are resting lovingly in our hearts forever, and from there we will never let you go. We release you now to the next part of your journey as you walk hand in hand with all those who have gone before you, lighting your way. And you can pray privately this moment if you wish. So don't think of Peter as gone away. His journey has now just begun. Life holds so many facets, and this earth is only one. Just think of him as resting from the sorrows and the tears in a place of warmth and comfort where there are no days and years. And think how he must be wishing that we could know today how nothing but our sadness can really pass away. And think of Peter as living in the hearts of those he touched. For nothing loved is ever lost, and he was loved so much. So just before we come to our closing words, there are some words of thanks to be offered on behalf of Peter's family. And first of all, thank you to the wonderful staff of Our Lady's Hospice for the wonderful care, the attention, and dignity they afforded Peter and his family. And thank you to everyone who called and left words of support and comfort. And Lorraine would particularly like to thank her sisters, her best friends, for their support during Peter's illness, and to thank all her family for all that they do, and in particular Lisa and David Maguire for the coffee and the lifts to hospital, for Colm Galvin for his lovely words, and thank you to Cancer Community Care and for all the support, for all the angels that worked on the palliative care unit in Harold's Cross. They've made a difference in Peter's last week. And immediately after the service, we will be bringing Peter to a service of committal in Newlands Cross Crematorium. We're due there for 2:30, and you can, those watching on the webcam can link in on the Newlands Cross website and view the short service there. For to everything there is a season. A time for every purpose on this earth, a time to be born and a time to die. And so death has come to Peter, who loved life. His firmness of character, his depth of humanity, we now commit to our memories. His loves, his friendships, we now commit to our hearts. And I bring a service now to a close with a short reflection. The tide recedes, but leaves behind bright seashells on the sand. The sun goes down, but gentle warmth still lingers on the land. The music stops, yet echoes on in sweet, soulful refrains. And for every joy that passes, something beautiful remains. So we've come to the end of our celebration of Peter's life. Leave now in quietness of spirit and in harmony with one another.
Let's sing a song of long ago when things were green and moving slow. And people'd stop to say hello, or they'd say hi to you. Would you like to come over to tea with the missus and me? It's a real nice way to spend a day in Dayton, Ohio, on a lazy Sunday afternoon in 1903. Let's sing a song of long ago. Trees could grow, days flowed quietly. The air was clean and you could see, and folks were nice to you. Would you like to come over to tea with the missus and me? It's a real nice way to spend a day in Dayton, Ohio, on a lazy Sunday afternoon in 1903.